Hello, welcome to Cooking Adventures with Mary. I'm Mary Poplis, your host. For today's menu, I will prepare a salad made with fresh mozzarella, roasted red peppers, oil-cured black olives, and topped off with a white balsamic vinegar dressing. For the entree, we will have homemade pasta. The pasta will be egg noodle pasta, spinach pasta, carrot pasta, and cottage cheese or ricotta-filled raviolis. For the dessert, we will have an orange cup sorbet made with fresh oranges and mandarin slices. So let us begin making the salad. Here we have some fresh mozzarella balls. The first order of business is to take one of the mozzarella balls and to take a melon scoop and just to make a little ball out of them, okay? And we're going to place them in a bowl here and get them ready for the salad. I have about a half pound here, and if in fact you do not want to make the mozzarella balls, you certainly can just make it into cubes, and that's not a problem. So we have about a half pound of mozzarella balls. This just takes a little time, and you can also cube it. Oh, excuse me. I'm just going to put that in there. I think for the others, I'm going to cube it. There we go. Might be easier. Either way is fine. In the balls or in squares. And they should be in small enough pieces, so be easily handled. Okay, like that. And one more. And these can be purchased from your supermarket in the deli section. Do not use the mozzarella that's in the package. There's quite a bit of difference in the flavor and also the freshness. So these are the ones that you find in your deli and are accessible everywhere. Okay? Easy enough. Now what we're going to do is get the red roasted peppers, excuse me. And this is about a 4-ounce jar. And put that in here without the olive oil. And just pour that in. It's beginning to look delicious already. Now we will put the black oil-cured olives on top of the mozzarella and the red pepper slices. And these, of course, have been pitted. And then we're just going to blend this in just a bit. Just a little bit. Now this is in preparation for the dressing. The dressing is very easy to make. We will do that next. Pour it over the salad, decorate the platter, and place it in the refrigerator so that it will be just perfect for dinner. We're going to have 5 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. This is the white balsamic vinegar. And the reason being is that if we used the dark balsamic vinegar, it would discolor. And so we want to use the white balsamic vinegar. This will be a little bit more, but we have a lot of salad, so we're all set. And then we're going to get extra pure virgin olive oil and add about 8 or 9 tablespoons. There we go. And then we're going to get some fresh parsley. This is from the garden. We have fresh products from the garden. It's very important not to use the other products that are in jars or cans. And then we have fresh basil. We're going to get a few slices, and then we're just going to cut small pieces into the salad dressing. And you do not have to mince it, and it just smells delightful. Very, very delicious. That should be enough. It's about 2 tablespoons of each. 2 tablespoons of the parsley, 2 tablespoons of the basil. And now with a little bit of black pepper. Fresh ground black pepper, very important. It imparts a special flavor. And then we'll have a little bit of salt. Then we're going to just mix this together. This is a very, very easy salad dressing. And we want to pour this over the mozzarella, over the fresh roasted peppers, and also the black olives, so that the flavors will melt. By the time we're through making our pastas and our dessert, this will have such a delicious flavor. So we're going to set this aside. We're going to decorate the platter, the salad platter. I'm going to put this right here, and just a few leaves of lettuce, because it's not a lettuce salad. This is fresh from the garden, just a little bit. And we're going to pour this salad in the center. Excellent. Looks ready already. So what we're going to do now is just decorate the platter with fresh cucumber slices, which I have left the rind on, the skin on, only because they're now plentiful in the garden, and they do not have any wax on them, and they are just perfect, just perfect. I'll be through in one moment. This is very, very easy to do, and it's also nutritious, but it's also very decorative. There. We'll put plenty of fresh cucumbers on here because we know that the flavor is just delicious. Here we go. I'll let those stay. And fresh tomato. This is excellent. Much color, and yes, much nutrition. And there we are. Now for the dressing. We've just mixed this up, blended it a bit. We're going to pour it over the center. Very important. It smells so fresh and wonderful. Excellent. We'll pull up some of the olives here so that they will be visible, and we'll have color. We'll have the reds and the greens and the black, and just beautiful fresh products from the garden, and also your local supermarket. And here we are. This is a beautiful salad. Actually, it's almost a meal in itself. So we'll be right back, and we will make the dessert. We will make an fresh orange cup sorbet, because we're going to make them in the order of preference for our ease of handling in the kitchen. Thank you. now we are ready to make the fresh orange cup sorbet. You can use sorbet ice cream or vanilla ice cream. For the purpose of today, because I'm going to add in the mandarin slices and orange juice, I'm going to make the orange cup with vanilla ice cream. Very, very delicious and very wonderful. As you can see, I've already cut some of the orange cups and taken out the orange pieces and put them in the freezer. And this is what you're going to do. But first I'm going to show you how to prepare these excellent, excellent cups. And here we are. This is the utensil that you should probably use for this beautiful type of presentation. You can cut it straight ahead with a regular knife, but then you'll have a flat edge. And that's all right, but just a little bit of variety. So what we're going to do is start right in the center, and we're going to push the utensil all the way through. Then, right next to it, all the way through again. Just go all the way around, and be sure to go all the way into the orange. And we won't have as much a problem pulling it all apart. This only takes seconds. It doesn't take long. It's not anything that anyone cannot do. Matter of fact, it's fun. Okay, we've cut it. There we are. It smells delicious. These are the navel oranges, and they are seedless, so they're very, very, very delicious. Now, you must have a receiving dish so that, I'll just empty this 1 second. I'll take this dish here. So that we're not going to use the fresh orange. We could, but for the purpose of presentation, and I want it to be a little bit different, I'm just going to score around the edges of this orange, and I'm going to loosen it up a bit. And then I'm going to take the shaving edge of your tool, your melon scoop, and just take out the center. And it doesn't take very long at all. And all this wonderful juice and all these wonderful pieces of orange can be used in a fresh fruit cup. And it does make your mouth water. And it does smell delicious. Once I have just cleaned out the orange from the center of this half of an orange, we're going to put it in, say, perhaps a plastic baggie, and seal proof and all. And then we're going to just let them freeze in the refrigerator. And you can do this the evening before. Very, very important. All right? Okay. And it doesn't have to be totally free of the orange. Just that much is fine, because what it's going to do is impart a beautiful orange flavor into the vanilla ice cream. So what we're going to do is do one more here. We'll just cut it. It doesn't take long. A serrated knife is excellent for just working around the orange. And cut it down like this. And then use this shield here. Take out the orange slices, and they do smell good. I don't think that you could possibly cut out half an orange without just perhaps taking a piece. But here we are, and this is the other half. Okay, well, we'll do one more. And just for showing the ease of this preparation, just go straight through, all the way around. Like I say, you can use a knife and cut straight ahead, straight across, and that's not a problem. But if you use the type of utensil that I have here, it'll give it a nice touch. There we go. And it looks so pretty. It's lovely. So we're going to just take the orange out. Again, just score it out. And into a bowl. If you like, you can make orange juice out of this, or you can also have this as your fruit cup for another time. Okay? We're just going to score this down just a bit. Shouldn't leave too much orange down there. And this tool is very easy to work with. Again, I do want to leave some of that in there, the flesh. Okay, they're very, very juicy. And they just smell delicious. We do this other half. And this is a very small one. Actually, if you cut them right in the center, they'll all be the same size, but not to worry. It'll be delicious. This could be for a smaller appetite. Just loosen it up. And then just pour it in the bowl. Good. Very delicious. Okay, maybe just a little bit more here. Okay, so here we are. We're going to set this aside because that's not what we're going to use. And we have 4 cups. And I'm going to move this over here. Now, for the purpose of showing you how to prepare the filling for these orange cups, I'm going to just set these aside, bring this forward. These are going into the freezer, and that's very important to freeze the orange cups because they're going to receive the sorbet or the ice cream. What we're going to do is get about 1 cup of soft ice cream. Just enough for all of us. That's 1. And then we're going to get some of the orange juice. This is the fresh frozen concentrate orange juice. Fresh frozen concentrate orange juice. And we're going to put about 1/4 cup in here. Okay. And then we're going to get some orange extract, pure orange extract, 1/4 teaspoon. You almost think you would not need that, but it does impart a very special flavor, so you do need that. Okay, even though we have orange, the orange cup, and we have orange juice, you do need to mix this in. Okay, just mix this in. Just blend it in like this. And then we're going to get the mango slices. Mango slices minus the juice. These are very, very sweet, very delicious. And of course, you must make this ahead of time because this has to refreeze. And I'm being very, very generous with the mango slices. Blend it in. And then get the remaining ice cream and pour it in. Creamy good. This certainly is a dessert that's acceptable at any time. Blend it in lightly. And you can leave the big pieces there. All right. And then we get a scoop here. Must work rather fast on this one. Okay, we're going to be generous. That there, and quickly into the freezer with these. Quickly, quickly. It'll take a good hour or so for this to freeze out. 30 minutes easy. The longer the better. You could make this ahead of time. Not a problem. And even though these are not frozen, I'm going to fill them because they're going into the freezer. When they come out, I will decorate them with the mango slice, the mandarin orange slices. Move this over. That's about 1 pint of ice cream, which for 7 cups, generous cups. We could do this small one. And we'll have just enough here, which is fine. And that's it. When they come out of the freezer, what we will do is place fresh orange or mango or mandarin slices, whatever your choice is, and decorate it with leaves or a piece of chocolate. So we're going to rush to the freezer and put these right in the freezer, and we'll be right back to make homemade pasta. Thank you. I'm now ready to make the ricotta filling for the raviolis because this is what we want to do first, and it just takes a few moments to make the egg noodle dough. And so therefore we have 1 16-ounce container of ricotta cheese. Very important to use ricotta cheese, it just has a special flavor. And then we're going to put about 1/4 cup of Romano cheese, fresh ground, fresh parsley minced just a little bit. Gives it a very, very nice flavor as you're eating these delicious raviolis. 1 egg, a little bit of salt, and just a little grind of black pepper. And that's it. And now all we're going to do is just mix this together. And this will be done in about 2 minutes or less. This is the filling for the ravioli filling. Cut. Just takes 1 second. The reason for the egg is also gives it a nice light flavor. Blend in the parsley and the cheese very nicely. And it is done. Could not be easier. So there we are. So we'll be right back, and we're going to make the homemade pasta, which takes about 7 or 8 minutes to make the egg noodle pasta, and then I will explain to you how to make the spinach pasta and the carrot pasta from the same dough. So we'll be right back. Now I'm ready to make the egg noodle pasta. It's a very, very simple formula to make egg noodle pasta. It's 1 cup of flour to 1 egg, salt, a little bit of olive oil, and also water. Or add another egg, no problem. So 1 to 1, 1 cup of flour, 1 egg. And here for the purpose of today, I'm going to have 2 cups of flour. Now when we start putting the water into the mixture, it's very important to put less water than more water, only because I have not measured this in specific ounces. It is a measuring cup, it's gone into the container, it's probably been loose or too heavy and not quite exact. It looks exact, but it is not. So when I say 1 egg, 1 cup of flour, 3 to 4 tablespoons of water, and some salt and a teaspoon of olive oil, be careful on the water. Do less, mix it carefully, and then you can just add very sparingly a little more water. If you don't do that, you will find that you'll be adding more flour to compensate for the sticky dough, more dough and all of this, and your balance will be way off. So do be careful on adding water. So we have 2 cups of flour, we have 2 eggs, 1 to 1, and some salt, about a teaspoon, and then we're going to add some water. And because I think I know, I'm going to add some water in here, maybe 3 to 4 tablespoons per cup. But for myself, what I do is I just put this in very, very gently. Very gently. Mix it first. Just mix it up first. I'll put this to the side. And just get a good feel for this. And it does smell wonderful. Those have this great, great, great aromatic flavor. And I'll add a little bit more. And once the dough starts to adhere together, and you have to be careful that you don't make it sticky, remember that. Once it adheres together, I'm going to put it in my mixer with a dough hook. If you do not have a mixer, that's not a problem. Just take it out of the bowl and knead it. I'll probably do a little bit of that so you can see that as well. And it just takes minutes to do, but you must make sure that the eggs have been just blended right into the dough. And that's the key. So it's nothing more than that. Add some water. Just mix it up. Now it's coming together very, very well. Excellent. Just blending and forming together beautifully. Just perfect. So we'll get some flour here. With flour in your hand, just take this here and pull it together. Just pull it together. And it's just pulling together. When it starts to feel that it's still moist, do not add more flour, more water. Okay? And there's still some flour down here, so we'll add just a little bit. And blend that right in. There we are, just perfect. All blending together, but I can see the yellow strands of egg in here. And so that is what we're going to take care of in just one moment. Add some flour to your board. And like I mentioned, I'm going to just knead it on the board so you can see that it can be done by hand. It takes about 5 minutes by hand and about 1.5 minutes by the mixer. So whatever your choice. But you can see how gorgeous this dough is coming. It's very, very, very soft. Very soft. Not hard. It just doesn't stick to your hand, and it's not sticky, and it's not wet. It's absolutely perfect. And I'm going to knead it. What you do is you'll turn one side over, turn the other side back, and there are just little strands of egg here yet, and we're going to take care of that. So just do a little bit more, just for those of you who want to do it by hand. But I'm also going to put it in the mixer, because I think it makes it light and airy. There we go. This is just perfect, absolutely perfect. But what I'm going to do is put it in the mixer just for a moment. Not necessary if you've done this by hand, just stick with it for a couple more minutes. But for myself, I'm putting it in the mixer. There we are. As it is mixing, I will tell you about the spinach dough and the carrot dough. Very, very easy. This will take about 1 second. Just bring this up. And it does make it lighter, as you can see. It just imparts more air into it. It's really an excellent way. If you do not have a mixer with a dough hook, I highly recommend it at some point. Makes a little difference. The other one you work at is just a little bit. Okay? Okay, so here we are. Let's see if there are any egg particles. Looks perfect to me. Put some flour on it. And this is ready for the refrigerator for at least 10 minutes or 5 minutes in the freezer. And it's easier to work with. If you're in a hurry, you can work with it right now. And I think that's what we're going to be doing. But I did say to you that I was going to teach you how to make spinach pasta and carrot pasta. And for the purpose of that, I have here, this was about 6 raw carrots that I put in the Cuisinart and pulsed it to a very, very, very fine stage. Very, very fine stage. Someone asked me in one of my classes if they could use baby food, carrots, and I said, I don't think so, but do try it. So I would highly recommend sticking with the fresh carrots that have not been cooked, that have been placed in small, like 1-inch rounds into the Cuisinart, and then just pulsed until it comes to this very, very fine stage. Must be a fine stage. And the spinach is made from a 10-ounce package of chopped spinach. I put it in the microwave and just drained all of the juices out. And then put it in the Cuisinart to come to a pulverized state. So when you have a 10-ounce package of spinach, it goes a long way because you're only going to use a ½ cup. Now the formula for the spinach pasta and the carrot pasta, it is 1 cup of flour, 1 egg, and a ½ cup of the spinach or a ½ cup of the carrot. No water. And salt, of course, and the olive oil. If you prefer. Olive oil is also optional. So the purpose is that the moisture in the spinach and in the carrots makes up for the moisture that we put in with the water. So this is also more nutritious than having just the egg noodles because it just has the vegetable as well. And it's good for family and also excellent, excellent presentation. Now this is dough that has been made up ahead of time. And the reason being is I've already got noodles. This one here is just very moist, very moist. But don't worry about that. Just add a little bit of flour. And then when you're rolling it out, it'll be just fine, just fine. Again, with the spinach pasta, same thing, but this is very, very beautiful because you can see the fresh spinach pieces, which are really very, very fine, but also it looks very wonderful. So we'll be right back, and we're going to make a few noodles, and then we're going to make the raviolis. We're now ready to make the raviolis. We have the ravioli mixture. We have the dough, which has been in the refrigerator for about 7 or 8 minutes. And we have a nice floured board. And we have a little bit of water, cold water, which we're going to seal the raviolis with. And the fork, which we're going to flute the edges. And so we're ready to roll this out. And this will just take one moment. It doesn't take long. And see how beautiful this dough is. It's absolutely gorgeous. Just so easy to work with. Very, very easy to work with. And just roll it and turn it. As you can see, the dough is absolutely perfect. Just stays in place, easy to roll. Ready made. Whoops, we need a little more room here. There we go. Okay. We're going to get this to a rather thin stage, not too thin. And of course raviolis can be filled with crab meat filling, lobster filling, meatball filling, but don't cook the filling. Just use meatball recipe. And put that in there, just perfect. So you can just use anything you like. If you're making lobster raviolis or crab meat raviolis, never ever use tomato sauce. Make a nice white sauce with crab meat or lobster or shrimp white sauce and pour it over the raviolis. Excellent, excellent dinner and very delicious. Quite different. Okay, this looks very, very, very perfect. There we go. What we're going to do is going to put, I'm very, very generous with my filling, and we're going to pour a little bit of filling across the dough. Leaving a seam here because we're going to have to pick that seam up and seal. So we have 4 raviolis here. You pick up the seam and bring it over, giving yourself enough room to work. And just bring that over and then cup them. Okay? There you go. Now we're ready to just take the ravioli cutter. This one here has been with me forever. But you can find ravioli cutters in any of your department stores of this nature. This one here was made in Italy with a bronze ravioli cutter. Okay, so what we're going to do now is just cut down and not too close to the filling because you don't want that filling to come out, and then just cut. When you are through here, save your dough. Don't discard it. Don't discard it. Just put it right over here because we can make egg noodle bows, and I'll show you that. It'll only take 1 second, but in one moment I'll show you how to do that. Now we're going to seal the raviolis. You get cold water with a fork, and then just go around the sides. Very, very easy. And the reason you can always tell these are homemade raviolis, they're never the same. And a lot of people will say, well, why don't you get one of those ravioli makers and you can make them all uniform and so on. I want people to know that I made them. So what we're going to do right now is we have a cookie sheet here with wax paper, and I have put flour on the bottom of this, and not too much, and that's so that they won't stick. Now, when you're making pastas and raviolis, you never, ever, ever double load them onto your cookie sheet. And the reason being is by the time you get to cook them, what have you, they'll all freeze together or cook together. So you must put them in the refrigerator or the freezer. If you're in a hurry, put them in the freezer. And then when they hardened, then you can just take them and then you can double them. Put wax paper in between. Until you do that, you never ever do that. You always have 1 layer only, all right? And there we go. And be sure that you seal them very, very well. And the reason I'm doing this, it's easy for picking up. And just put it on the cookie sheet here. I'll turn it all the other way. In one package, a 16-ounce package of ricotta cheese, we'll probably make about 16 or 18 good size raviolis, family size raviolis, all right? And see how beautiful they are? So we're just moving right along. If this happened to be a little bit thicker than you want, you could just take your rolling pin and roll it down. But it's perfect, so we're not going to touch it. Again, put the filling up further, leaving yourself room to turn over the dough. And I'm making these very generous. Well, instead of having 6, we can have 3. Not a problem. Again, just take the dough, bring it up and over, up and over. And we're going to make sure that we have a good seam. And then we're going to form it with our hands. There we go. And then just take the ravioli cutter. And because this one is in a different form, just go around like this. Take the excess dough and save the dough. And then we're just going to cut down. Okay, same process. Cold water. If you don't leave enough room for seams, then your filling is going to fall out. And you'll be disappointed because some will not stay inside. Say that once we put these in the refrigerator or the freezer, and you find that perhaps the fluted edges have lifted a bit and you think that the filling might fall out, just take a fork and reflute it. It's not a problem. Okay, just want to make sure. But if that happens, and it happens to all of us, and some of the filling will come out of one, not a problem. It's just delicious. Just put it into the bowl and put the noodles on top. Excellent. Don't discard it. It's delicious. And there may be someone who doesn't want the ravioli, so you've got homemade pasta for them. And here we go. Again, if we want to be uniform, we certainly could spend more time, not a problem, and we could measure them out and do them in perfect rectangles and so on. But we made them, and we're going to make sure that people know that they didn't come out of a box. I'm going to take another piece of this dough, and I'm going to just spread this out. This dough is absolutely fabulous. It's very, very good. As you can see, it is not sticking to my hand, and it's so easy to roll, and it's so perfect. When you're cooking homemade pasta, the noodles, we're going to do that very, very shortly. When you're making homemade noodles and the water has come to a boil, they usually take about 4 minutes to cook, no more. Absolutely no more. Generally, the pasta's out of a box. You start them in the morning, they're done in the evening. They just take forever. Al dente as well. But when you make them yourself, they take about 4 minutes, 4 to 5 minutes, that's all. And the raviolis take about 12 minutes, and no less than 12 minutes. You must taste the edge of the ravioli dough to make sure that it is just right. The center may look cooked because once the pasta starts rolling to a boil and the raviolis are boiling on top, it looks like it might be done, but do taste the edge of the ravioli. If that tastes done, then it's just perfect. And I'm going to roll this one more. We're almost there. The dough is just perfect, and how easy it was. The mystery. I believe that some of these products that we're making on the program have taken the mystique out of a lot of the cooking that you thought you never could do. And it also was very quick. If you were to make one batch of pasta, the 1 egg, 1 cup of flour, and the ingredients, the olive oil if you wanted, and also the water, then that takes minutes. That takes about 5 minutes to make. 5 minutes, no more. Put it in the freezer or the refrigerator, roll it out, and you have pasta for dinner. And it's just fabulous. So I highly recommend that. But if you're going to make one batch of dough, you might as well make two cups and 2 eggs, and you've got a beautiful, beautiful dinner. This is just perfect. We're going to add the ricotta cheese. Nice little mounds. It does smell so fresh, so fresh. Everything fresh, up and over. Perfect, perfect. Okay. Again, ravioli cutter, not too close. Cut down. And take the dough, save it. Perfect. As you notice, it's not sticking to my hands. Absolutely perfect. Be very, very careful on the water. That's the key. If you like, you do not have to use water. You can use an extra egg. And I prefer to use a little bit of water in my dough. Also, you can use semolina flour and also regular flour. This is all-purpose flour, but you can make a mixture. You can have a mixture. And I still prefer the all-purpose flour alone because I do like the softness of the dough. I think that matter of preference, the durum flour would just make it a little more sturdier and a little bit more like your packaged pasta. And I prefer that it just be homemade. Almost there. You see, it doesn't take more than, I would say 15 minutes to make raviolis. Just 15 minutes. 5 minutes for the dough, maybe 7 minutes for the dough. I'm just going to roll this down because I don't want that too thick. There we go, just a little bit. Almost there. Almost ready for dinner. There we go. Just do 3 there. And then up and over. And in some cases when you get to the end, you can move that ricotta filling over just a bit with your palm of your hand underneath that dough. We want to have seams. And over. Okay, and save the dough. I'm going to do some fun things that children also can do. In my classes, there was this one person who had 5 children, and he mentioned to me that on a very stormy day, he had his children making bows. Now, you think about how do you make bows? It must be so complex. Well, I'm going to show you in a moment, and to the delight of all, including family and so on, the children made bows. And you can also freeze these. The pastas can be frozen when they're ready to be cooked. The water must be to a boil. Do not ever thaw your pastas or your raviolis. Do not thaw them. Put them into the boiling, boiling water just immediately, but do not thaw it. That's the way that goes. When you are stirring the pastas and the raviolis, always use a wooden spoon, and you don't damage your dough. And also take away from the heat. Now we just have a little more dough, a little more of the cheese, and I think I'm going to roll out just a little bit because we'll use that for the noodles. 1 second, okay? Just a little bit more. Almost there. There we go. Homemade raviolis ready for the fresh tomato sauce with our basil and basilico and the parsley and so on. We're going to put these right in the refrigerator or the freezer. We are not going to put aluminum foil on them until they harden for a good half hour to an hour. Do not do that because we want to make sure that the aluminum foil or the saran wrap or what have you that you put on top of these doesn't adhere to your raviolis. When you go to pick it up, then you have a mess. So we're going to put these in the freezer right now, and I'll be right back to show you how to make the egg noodle pasta and how to actually make the design of it, and also some egg noodle bows, okay? So we'll be right back. Thank you. Making the egg noodle design is very, very simple. And also the bows is very, very simple. And again, you can use it with the egg noodle dough or the spinach dough, or you can have the carrot dough. If you're making tomato, use tomato paste. You can use garlic, but you have to puree it, etc. There are so many different ways to use pasta dough. But for the purpose of showing you about egg noodles and how to just make them, how to cut them up, I should say, because we've already learned how to make the dough, so we're learning how to cut them. Just add a little bit of flour here. Not too much flour. You don't want them leathery, not that they will be. But we just want to make sure that it's a perfect dough. And as you can see, it couldn't be finer. It's just really, really, really good. Excellent. And something that you can do yourself. There. Okay, I roll this out to a thinness again. Almost there. Okay, and maybe one more time. And as you can see, the dough doesn't adhere to the pastry board, doesn't adhere to your hand. It's just very, very light, very silky, not wet and not dry. Okay? So right now we're going to make the egg noodles. And because if I left this dough in this manner, we would have egg noodles probably 2 feet long. So what we're going to do is just cut down the center. And for the purpose, I'm going to save some of this dough to show you about how to make the bows. We're just going to cut them very, very fine. Okay? Nice steady hand to the thickness of your choice. I like them thin. As you know, you can buy noodles of any type, any size. They have wide noodles, curly noodles, and you also can do the very same. Again. There we go. That's it. And all we're going to do is just take them, and we have a receiving dish or a cookie platter with some wax paper and also with a little bit of flour. And that's so that the noodles do not adhere to the wax paper or to the medium of the dish. And we're just going to place them one at a time here. And then we're going to put them in the refrigerator or the freezer uncovered until they feel dry to your hand when you check them in about 30 minutes to 1/2 hour. Very important. And then you can cover them with aluminum foil. You can freeze them for however long, and then you can just boil them up in about 3 to 4 minutes. These noodles are done, ready for any type of sauce, for butter, for tomato sauce, for a seafood sauce, anything you prefer to have that with. And as you can see how nice and easy these are. And again, do not double them. Only when they have dried, then you can put wax paper in between the layers, and then you can put the noodles into as many layers as pasta that you've made. If you've made many batches, then you're just going to want to make 4 or 5 layers in a large container. But for this purpose, we're just going to put this right here. And just take this like this, and peel off nicely. One in here, and one there. Easy, easy. Minutes, just minutes. Now for the purpose of bows, I'm going to take the mystery out of those. Any size bow you want. First of all, I'm going to just take that edge out like that for one moment. If I wanted to make bows for minestrone soup or chicken soup or what have you, I would just make the size, the thickness, or the width of the bow that I want. So this one here, I'm going to take this here and cut it. I can make a big bow, a small bow. I can make a bow for salads, whatever the purpose. Take this and this. What you do, put some flour in your hand, pinch it, voila. Too easy, too easy. That's a big bow. Now, just pinch it, thumb and index finger. And what we're going to do now is you would freeze these. I'll put them in the refrigerator and then boil them up into your minestrone soup. This one here is not so pretty because that was the end, all right? So we're just going to do a couple more, and then we're going to make additional noodles. Just pinch. Too easy, too easy. And the reason being is that you do have to put a little bit of flour on your hand because the pasta is so fresh. And I'll make a nice little ones here. If you're making soup, these would be just perfect. And the children like to do this. So if you have little children, This is a great, 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 great entertainment. And also it helps you to fill your freezer. Okay, well, we won't do any more of those. We're going to do small noodles. We'll just do small noodles here. And I'm going to continue with what we have here. But that's all that is. It's very, very easy. Tortellini and all of those are much more difficult to make. And for the purpose of this program, we've gone through a great deal of how to make spinach pasta, carrot pasta, egg noodle pasta, raviolis, etc. So we're not going to overstay our welcome here. So we're just going to put some pastas here. And just see how easily these separate very, very nicely, very nicely. Now there's a long strand. There we go. We just cut that because they expand in the water. We don't want pastas that are too big. And so on. So what we're going to do now is get ready to boil the pastas in the water that has been salted. The raviolis will take about 12 minutes, and the pasta itself will take about 4 minutes. I'm all ready to put the beautiful finishing touches on the fresh orange cup sorbet. But of course we use vanilla ice cream, but it's still going to be very, very refreshing and similar to a sorbet. And as you can see how beautiful these are, the ice cream has sort of melted down. It looks very, very presentable. We're going to add a couple of pieces of fresh mandarin slice on top of each. And we do have to work fast because we have to put them back into the freezer. We waited until the ice cream was melted. Excuse me. And then we put all of the ingredients inside, then put them into the freezer and refroze it with the fresh mandarin slices. You can also put coconut on top of this. You can put fresh almonds. Anything of your choice. You can put a nice chocolate slice. But I think for the refreshing flavor of orange, now this could not be more perfect. We're down to our last one. This is a small can of mandarin slices. And we have 8 of these beautiful fresh orange cups. And we're going to just decorate with a little piece of fresh mint right in the center. I highly recommend that you get some fresh mint and just put it right in the middle. Very, very delicious. It'll be an excellent little touch, a nice flavor, and it also looks very, very lovely. Very lovely. Very easy to do. Be creative. And take off the excess leaves. You don't need that many, just a couple. Just put that down in here. And one more. Don't need the big leaves. Like that. Good things from the garden. There we go. And one more. Just take these leaves off. And one orange slice slip down. And we'll put that right there. And here we are. These are just wonderful, refreshing. They're going to be fabulous for our finishing touch for a delicious, delicious meal. Thank you for joining me at the dinner table. I would like to review the beautiful foods that we had made for our meal this evening. We have the beautiful pastas, the carrot, the spinach, egg noodle. the homemade raviolis, cheese raviolis. We have this beautiful salad made with mozzarella, fresh roasted red potatoes, oil-cured black olives, fresh garden products such as tomatoes and cucumbers made with a white balsamic vinegar. And also we have our fresh fruit cups here made with the fresh orange pieces and the mandarin slices and a little bit of sprig of mint on top to give it the finishing touch. What is a meal without garlic bread? Garlic bread made with olive oil and butter and fresh garlic from the garden. In addition, because this is Poplus Farms and we do have an orchard of apple trees, I have made a beautiful apple pie, which I do believe you will enjoy because I have invited you to dinner this evening. I feel that being in the kitchen is somewhat like a composer who is about to begin to create a musical piece. All of the notes are put together. Once the composition is done, it is a beautiful piece of music for all to enjoy, somewhat like the kitchen. I enjoy the kitchen, I enjoy the products that are in our freezers and in our gardens, and to come about and to create a beautiful dinner where communication, good friends, and laughter and chatting are all part of being together and enjoying each other's company. So I'm very happy that you have joined me today. It is my pleasure to bring this program to you on a weekly basis. I'm Mary Poplus, your host. Thank you for watching Cooking Adventures with Mary.
Maria.